Hey, Kevin, good morning.
Good morning.
So today is Thursday, August 31st. So we're at the end of another month, and we're just going to do a quick update this morning. Um, so talk to me about the last week, your milestones, anything of note.
Um, Past week, there haven't really been that many milestones compared to the previous week, but there's been some good ones. Um, in a previous video, an update, we had done our second 6 minute walk test. This time we were at Broadway Square Mall here in Tyler. So Karen and I were mall walkers for a little bit before the mall opened, and on 3 liters. Um, was able to walk that fairly easily at a nice, easy pace. Sats only dipped down to mid 80s and then rebounded back up into the comfortable 90s after I stopped walking. But it was good. It would be nice to be able to do that without the supplemental oxygen. I don't know how quickly that's going to happen. It's going to take some time since my pulmonologist and my rheumatologist have both said this is going to be a long recovery. This is also our first morning video. So if you're catching the hint of a sleepy eyed Kevin, it's because it's early. It's right at about 7 a.m. Usually we film these around, would you say 8:30,
Yeah, just before bed.
9 o'clock, just before bedtime because we're old. And so you're catching me usually at the lowest point of my day.
Now, talking about walking, you and I went for a walk last night around the complex
We
here, and I kind of figured it was a big milestone, so to speak, simply for the distance that we went.
Yeah, I think your Android watch,
Yeah.
which has a pedometer in it, told us that the walk was about a 32-minute long walk. And total distance was what, about 1.21 miles?
Yeah, that's what my watch
That's what it
said.
came out to.
We're not sure how accurate that is, but it's something.
It's more accurate than what we would have been able to do without it, I think.
Yeah.
But that's significant if it's accurate, because it's the first time I've done that since the hospital. Normally, my walking distances are, like in the case of the 6 minute walk, I suspect that it's probably somewhere around maybe about 1,000 feet in that time, if that much. So this is significant. Of course, I was on supplemental oxygen. I think I was on 3 liters last night. And we walk around our apartment complex on the main road that takes you, circumnavigates the apartment complex, and we just decided to walk it a second time. And it wasn't until I think 2/3 into the second lap that I could tell that I was starting to tire a little bit. Um, like when my heart is working harder to move me, and my oxygen dips because my lungs can't meet the demand. Usually, the first sign is I get this heavy feeling in my legs. Legs feel like they have lead weights in them, but I kept moving. It wasn't scary. And I think what the sats dipped at their lowest around what, 74, 75%. I think it's what it was. And by the time we got back to the apartment, they were in the mid to upper 80s. And then once I rested, it rebounded within about 30 seconds to a minute,
Really quickly.
really quickly. So I don't know if that's an adaptation. I've had doctors and nurses kind of look at me and go, how can your sats dip that low and you not feel like you want to pass out? But I've never felt like passing out when my saturations dip below, say, the ideal. The ideal is between 89 and 99% for most people. And I've even had patients in the past that when their sats dipped into the mid 80s, they felt like they were going to pass out or, "Oh, I need to sit down," or something to that effect. So when it's happening to you personally, I keep waiting for that tunnel vision, that auditory exclusion, and that desire to just sit down right now. Otherwise, I know it's going to be lights out pretty soon, and it never comes. I think the scariest it has been since I got out of the hospital. It was one of the first hot days here in Tyler, the end of the spring, and I was driving my pickup on my way to an appointment or something, and the AC is out in the pickup. It needs to be repaired. So I'm sitting there breathing hot air while breathing my supplemental oxygen, and suddenly I got this anxious feeling like I couldn't catch my breath, and I had to pull over into some shade, and I took the pulse ox with me, a little thing that measures and tells you how much oxygen is dissolving in your blood each time it measures it. And I was down to like 57 until I could get control of my breathing. I'm not sure what that was, but I never felt like I was going to pass out. Anyway, enough about that. The other thing I'd like to talk about today is squat progression at the gym, because we went to the gym shortly thereafter with the walk test on Sunday, and squatted 90 pounds, which is kind of a new PR for me. I guess it's a PR post-hospitalization. So it felt good, and it wasn't nearly as difficult as I was expecting it to be. But yeah, progression for squats is going up, and it feels good.
One thing about that I just remembered, because I knew that something else significant happened while we were at the gym and you were doing your squats. You were resting, and this kid walks over and starts talking to you, and just immediately do you mind if I ask you your story? And his name was Johnny. Yeah, shook hands. We got pictures. I don't know if you want to show everybody the picture that we got.
Sure. It's my handsome self standing next to Johnny. Just some young kid walked up to me while I was recovering. I guess he was working on the station next to us, and he just wanted to know what my story was. So I told it to him. He said something to the effect of that it's an inspiration to people that come in and see it.
Yeah.
So you never really know how other people see you until they tell you. So
that was some good energy.
Yeah,
it was really what that really.
It was needed.
Yeah.
At the time.
Yeah.
So good day.
Okay, so then after that, we had the squat progression. There was Johnny. The other big deal this week is you were feeling great. Were your words? You told me several days in a row, so I'm feeling great.
Yep.
And if it weren't for the oxygen, you wouldn't even, the supplemental oxygen, you wouldn't even know that anything was going on. But
sure.
So we figured it was time maybe for the next step in the taper.
Mm-hmm.
And so talk about that.
Yeah. So I stepped down to 5 milligrams PO my mouth daily. And the first 3 or 4 days were all right. But I noticed that, was it yesterday morning?
Yeah, yesterday.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yesterday, actually the night before, I was having a little bit, it didn't feel right breathing-wise after a certain hour. So say after 8 p.m., there was that familiar, everything just seems to be slowing down and breathing is getting to be more of a challenge. It just didn't feel, the breaths didn't feel clean, for lack of a better word. Now, air quality here has been kind of hit or miss. It'll be high humidity in the morning. The humidity will drop off later in the day because we got some rain. I think it was Sunday night.
Finally got some rain
Here. So air quality has been kind of all over the place, but at 5 milligrams per day, I was good on that dose for about 3 days before I started noticing what felt like familiar withdrawal symptoms. So yesterday morning, instead of doing the 5 milligrams in the morning, it's part of my morning medication regimen, we went ahead and added back in another 2.5 milligrams for a total of 7.5 milligrams. And we're going to alternate between that each day until I'm able to taper down and stay at 5 milligrams comfortably, which is how we've been doing it with other higher doses. But it's amazing what 2.5 milligrams of prednisone can do. I feel good.
Okay. All right. So we will check back in a week or so. And maybe jump in at any interval in between when something significant happens. You know,
Yeah.
we'll do updates, but we'll catch you again on the next one.
You will.
All right.
Bye.